Well, good evening. So, as an airsofter from the St. Louis area out of Missouri, I've been testing some new components from Italy and Germany in order to expand all the little latest inventions that apply to airsoft to try to make teching that much nicer. And some of these you wouldn't know unless you actually went out of your way to find, say, for the brand Begadi, you really got to look into the German content or local areas thereof. So in the States, there's not really much covering this. I found out through, I think it's Reflex Airsoft. So what I have and been testing just previous this year has been the Begadi bucking lines for their appraised quality and injection. These go from regular 5 millimeter length to the 7 millimeter length, hence the Fly 5, Fly 7, SHP5, SHP7, Mag 5, MHP 5. So those are all kind of equivalent to Maple Leaf Super and Maple Leaf Mr. Hop buckings. So they can have either a real nice flat hop or a real nice R hop. Now, the next thing that I'm looking to really play with this new SR25 from Kaima CMO 98B is Begadi's hop-up chamber, which is the Neptun Pro. Now, the cool thing about this hop-up chamber is that it is adjustable with shims for its distance from the gearbox, as well as adjustment to the mag feed. So even if your nozzle length isn't perfect, these shims at about 0.2 millimeter each can help correct its position from the gearbox. In particular custom applications such as the SR25, where the stock hop-up chamber required a 24 millimeter nozzle to reach, even though it's using a standard version 2 cylinder head. So to account for that, right now, I believe this is at about around 1.4 millimeter shims. I ordered their Pro Kit to get extra shims, as well as extra gearbox mating brass rings, just so I could have the customization, however you want to put it. That way, I could get the exact air seal re-corrected after taking out the stock hop-up chamber, because a regular version 2 hop-up chamber is too short for this. I found that without any shimming, this hop-up chamber was roughly 2 millimeter closer to the gearbox than the stock hop-up. So in that case, if I had no shims, a 22.5 would be the perfect nozzle length. But then the mag probably wouldn't line up with this, because even Begadi says that with the shimming, you want to be within about 0.4 millimeters of the mag feed original design, either forward or back. So within that 0.4 range, in order for the mag feed to fit right, as well as the nozzle to reach correctly. So in this case, I've been playing around with an SR25, a G36 24.3 nozzle, and now a Rocket Airsoft 24 millimeter nozzle. I wanted the 24 because at 24.3, I was using basically all 6 or 7 shims out of the 8 that I have in order to reach the bucking, which in this hop-up chamber, you can actually see the bucking lips. Granted, it's an exposed hop-up chamber, so you really want to make sure you have a functional dust cover to keep any crap out of there. I may end up actually putting some electrical tape to cover up that window whenever I'm in full use and I'm no longer tuning it, just to keep crap out of my nozzle and bucking lips. But still, the adjustability is huge. And I can also say that while the buckings from Begadi, they're rather loose fitting and max hop-up chamber that I have in the HPA gun, as well as the Pro-In that's in the old Freedom DMR. Sure enough, the Begadi buckings fit best in their own Begadi hop-up chamber. So whereas the previous hop-ups needed Teflon tape, the Begadi chamber does not need the Teflon tape. You get good seal. So anyways, with the adjustability of the Begadi hop-up chamber, what that looks like for you able to do is, with the brass ring with the O-ring included, this is going to snap right into your gearbox shell, and they have optional sizes for this brass ring in the expert kit. It's not a perfectly tight fit on this Rocket Airsoft nozzle. I bet the Begadi nozzles would probably fit best. But even still, that's better for aligning it before it goes into the bucking so it doesn't hit high, low, left, right on the bucking lips. But what we're actually looking for is if we get this just right, you should be able to feel that as you push on, that it is firmly seating against the rubber lips of the bucking. We don't want to stab into the bucking, but we don't want to fall short of the bucking. And we're using these shims to be plus minus 0.4, 2 shims either way, in order to still mate up with the mag feed. Okay, next cool thing. Now we're stepping away from Begadi, and we're looking at the FPS Softair Italian piston head that has a new X-ring design piston ring. So rather than be full round, it's rectangular with a little groove in the center there. So you have 2 sealing lips rather than 1 peak lip from a regular standard O-ring. As well as includes angle of engagement shims, 4 total available. I'm using 3 out of the 4 for this Retro Arms SR25 19 tooth piston. That way, you don't have to buy a 100 pack of shims just to do one single piston install. And with that nice angle engagement adjustment, we can come right around and we can make sure that this sucker is hitting our very first tooth right at top dead center. Yippee hooray! And the other FPS Softair part I've gotten is the double O-ring cylinder head with padded front end, as well as the 60 durometer pad for DMR use. So it's going to be extra squishy to absorb the shock so that the front portion of this gearbox does not yeet itself away if I ever shoot it without a Hopup chamber supporting the front of it. Granted, that's what the radius corners are for on gearbox windows, is to prevent that from just... Done that before. It's kind of funny watching. Just snaps just like that. But having the AOE will help prevent any extra stress on my gear train when pulling up the first tooth. And we got a good seal, because it's, again, that's seriously good seal. Just bam, rock solid. Anywho. FPS Softair, Begadi, and one other cool thing that I mentioned in the previous one. Begadi makes a piston head of their own that has 5 adjustment clicks with a hex key in the center that you can access by backing off your Hopup chamber and sending an unjamming rod with a custom head on it all the way through the nozzle into the piston head and click, 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 click. So you can overjoule your spring, and that way you can start off as, say, DMR, and then you can back about 1/10 to 2/10 of joules for every click. So you can drop yourself all the way down to darn near CQB legal range from a DMR spring. So it's a little bit extra stress on your gearbox to run the higher spring, but hey, if you want to be able to avoid doing a quick change spring entirely and just use the adjustable piston head, Begadi's got you covered. So, future of this SR25, we're trying out this Rocket Airsoft brushless motor, Siege Tech 26.671 gear set, a gate aster optical trigger, and again, we're running the FPS Softair cross ring piston. We have the FPS Softair cylinder head, Rocket Airsoft 24mm nozzle, and then the Begadi Hopup chamber with shims to adjust seal, all in this good old SR25. Should be around 29 rounds per second, considering it's a 47,000 RPM motor with a 26.67 ratio gears, just how math works. And we're running it on the 11-1 20C iPower batteries. It's the same batteries I've been using in the DMR for years. They're real soft as far as cycling. They only run about 25 RPS in that. Considering a brushless motor is supposed to drop current by 1/3 roughly, I'm hoping that it can take that much extra stress out of the batteries so that they don't die so fast and still give me a nice snappy, almost HPA-like trigger response. Because I really want to see who's king daddy. Is it AG with a good volume matched barrel to cylinder? And this is 395mm inner barrels, so with a full non-ported 72mm of length, that should be around a volume ratio of 2.8 to 1, where all my previous videos of the Freedom DMR That's been actually around 1.8 to 1 because it has like 500 millimeter inner barrel and a full non-ported version 2 62 millimeter length of stroke. So have an extra 10 millimeter stroke in the SR25. We're really going to put the test. Is this the better way to DMR, or is the math a little overkill compared to just send it with a nice air seal and or hop rubber? So that'll be a later game day coming soon.